Well, the world may have been saying this is a dead rubber, but obviously Afghanistan and West Indies did not get that memo, and we're so happy they did because we're feeling alive as well. My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. This is what happened in this league game, a dead rubber for both, the last game in the World Cup for both West Indies and Afghanistan. And boy, when I say it went down to the last ball, it did go down to exactly the last ball. They couldn't have bowled another ball. They couldn't have batted another ball because all out for 288 Afghanistan at the stroke of the midnight hour. That is the 50th over. And boy, what an effort by Afghanistan. They just gave everything to that chase, falling short by 23 runs, but not falling short in our eyes when it comes to respect. Just with the passion and the spirit that Afghanistan have played with today, boy, they've won a lot of fans world over. I'm sure they've won fans in Joy Bhattacharjya and Zaheer Khan as well. My goodness, what an effort, Joy.
Absolutely sensational, and the way they went at it, and every time you thought that, okay, these batsmen are out, Nabi's out, they won't get it. Afghan comes and hits, then he's out, Rashid comes and hit. They went down hitting till the very end, and that was fantastic. No batsman came there and said, I'm just going to bat out the next 4 years. And that's superb.
And of course, the highest scorer, Ikram, 18 years old, showed the temperament of an 80-year-old, didn't he, today?
They needed that.
The wisdom.
We're talking about in the mid innings that who's going to provide that power.
Yeah.
And he just came out there and played freely. He's young kid came as a replacement for Shehzad, known for Shehzad, who is known for his hitting ability, and he's put up a great show, which was required. Rahmat Shah, we all knew that he's got the capability.
Yeah.
That's someone who Afghanistan batting depend highly upon. So after that, I think that innings set the platform. That run out was very, very crucial, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You know, when they go and look back at the game, they're going to say, man, if something changed, it was probably that run out. And that run out should actually be credited to Chris Gayle. His name won't be anywhere there. But that was just his guile and his experience of playing this game at the top level for close to 2 decades that got that wicket.
No, absolutely. The way he moved, 2 things he did.
Yeah.
One is that he didn't know who's going to pick up the ball because he just moved towards it. So the non-striker thought it was a sure run. Okay?
Yeah, which was Asghar Afghan.
Asghar Afghan, and the non-strikers end. And the strikers end, the problem was he couldn't see because Gayle obscured him. So he couldn't see exactly where he was in picking and throwing. So he did 2 things out there very smartly by just running interference on the ball, as they say.
But should Najib have just trusted his old captain, Asghar, if he's called for 2, just run 2? Because he stopped.
Yeah.
Asghar Afghan made it clearly back, but Najib couldn't.
In fact, actually, the danger end was his.
Yeah.
So Zadran was hesitant because of that.
Yeah.
Asghar Afghan knew that usually you go to the safer side, and the danger end was actually Zadran's, and that's why he hesitated.
Yeah.
If he had not hesitated, he would have probably made it. But also Hetmeyer was very quick. So that's something which no one expected. Like even when we were watching it on screen, we actually felt that Chris Gayle is not going to get there, but Hetmeyer was just lightning quick, and great throw as well. That throw, the bounce was just perfect for Brathwaite to collect it and just take the stumps off. But yeah, I think that was the turning point. 189 in 35 overs. We were talking about for Afghanistan it's going to be very difficult to keep that tempo in the last 10 overs of getting 11 runs per over, but they managed it well.
It was not a tempo, it was a truck by the end of it. Huh?
Yeah,
they were ramming into West Indies.
If it was not for those 3 wickets which fell in that passage of play, it was a fantastic game set by Afghanistan batsmen. They actually were staying ahead of the game in a very calculative manner at 15 overs to 35th over. That was something was the most entertaining play. Yes, lethargy of West Indies did help them at that stage to just keep up with the momentum and with those few drop catches and chances. But I like the intent. This is what we wanted to see from Afghanistan, that slight level up. And I think back end of the World Cup, they've managed it well. They lifted their game. They left the issues which they were dealing with beginning of the World Cup and settled in nicely and produced some good, entertaining cricket. I mean, that's what I'm always happy seeing Afghanistan. So I'm not expecting them to win every time they go out there on the field. But it just the kind of energy they have and the kind of belief they have about winning matches. It's not happened consistently as yet at this level, but the belief is what that matters. That is the stepping stone. If you're not believing it, it's never going to happen. So I think when I see them play like that, it gives me a lot of satisfaction when I watch them play.
Yeah, it really was a satisfying performance by Afghanistan today. And then, that run out, and then a few, some of those catches. Joy, I want to ask you, is it fair for you to have a fielder on long on or long off who's standing on the first floor to catch the ball effectively?
6 feet 7 inches tall, and when you look at a field like that, you'll say no captain. Normally, you'll always have a captain close in because he can talk to his bowler and all that. He knew the most vital position of there was long on and long off.
Yeah.
So he stationed himself at long off, took very important catches, and the calmness with which he took them. Because there's one thing being 6 feet 7 inches, he took them above his head on the line, looked around, and he was peacefully there. Any other, think of Parthiv Patel standing there. What would he have done?
It would have been a 6. It would have been a 6. Poor PP. It's not his fault. But actually, when it's Jason Holder, pretty much any player you compare to him, you can even compare Virat Kohli to him. He loves long on, long off.
Correct.
He would have been a 6 sailing over his head as well. Both those shots. But hey, it was not to be eventually for Afghanistan, but they'll be very happy. The West Indies, well, I don't know how much they defended this. Yes, there was that inspired run out which Chris Gayle did, but ultimately the asking rate was just too much. But they didn't help themselves in the field at all. There was just a lot of lapses. There was dropped catches. There was some painful ones, there were some funny ones, and really they'll go back from this and say, we've got out of jail today. We've got our second win, but we've got out of jail.
I think so too, and I think what they'll be happy about is that their fielding improved towards the end.
Yeah.
They got a couple of good catches. Jason Holder got a couple of good catches. There was a brilliant catch, I think, by Hetmyer in the outfield. There was a great catch by Fabian Allen to end it off. So they ended well, they'll tell themselves. But there was a lot of mediocrity in the middle. And with this kind of cricket, any slightly more experienced, slightly better side, and they wouldn't have seen that.
Well, Chris Gayle also ended today. His World Cup, we think so. We think. Odds on. I think he's not going to play another World Cup match. But with him, just never know, do you? But he did take a wicket. He got that run out. He took a good catch as well. He took a diving catch in the front. But the wicket that he took was extremely important, which was Ikram, who was going solid, looked set for 100. His intention was to stay till the end. You could see it as an 18-year-old. His intention looked like he was wanting to play till the end. So there, of course, a good farewell for Chris Gayle from the World Cup at least. I don't think he stuck around till the end of the game for the farewell though.
And he came back.
Well, he was
he
was actually doing some push-ups on the field, hinting at maybe continuing of cricket after the World Cup, and the statement which he gave, he's just taking it further by doing those push-ups, showing that the strength is still there and he's good to go.
Think about it, the wicket he's taken, the important wicket for Afghanistan is of a guy who was born after Chris Gayle made his international debut.
1 year after.
1 year after Chris Gayle.
So Chris Gayle, I think, was around the 18th of September. This guy, 99. This guy is born around the 23rd of September, 2000. Yeah. So 1 year after, before he was even conceived, Chris Gayle has made his international
While he was just a twinkle in his father's eye is when Chris Gayle made his debut. It's just insanity how this is universe boss.
But I have a theory about Chris Gayle now. Remember, there's a chap called, I think his name was Nolan Clarke, okay, who played for the USA when he was 47 years old, former West Indian cricketer, and then finished out there, went to the West Indies, started playing again, played. Don't be surprised if suddenly 2-3 years later he'll end up playing for the USA or for Canada. Chris Gayle, 48 years old, getting ready. It's quite
never
possible.
know actually, right?
Yeah, he can.
You never know.
If Nolan Clarke plays at the age of 47, he can play. Yeah.
Yeah, don't give him ideas though. You're giving him some solid ideas.
He is the universe boss. He will decide what to do.
Wherever in the universe. He could play for Mars, right? Any favorite Chris Gayle moment for you? You've competed against Chris Gayle.
From this World Cup, I can't get over the fact how he reacted after taking that wicket. I think that is hilarious and something which you'll remember for the longest time.
Yeah.
So that was the moment for me.
For you? You've had a few. Was he in KKR when you were there?
I told you, my favorite Chris Gayle.
And then, of course, when he came back.
No, my favorite Chris Gayle story is it's a funny one, but it was in the dressing room at Centurion. And Brad Hogg had this habit of not wearing anything in the dressing room and walking around. So he was fortunately wearing a towel and walking around. And Brad Hogg is not the biggest man in the world. He's 5'4", 5'5". And he goes in front of Chris Gayle, opens himself and says, "Chris Gayle, interested?" And he looks at that and he says, Chris Gayle says, must be winter, man. And the entire dressing room was on the floor, the way he said it. He had an amazing sense of humor. He was very cool. And see, that's one thing. He finished, even when Afghanistan beat them in the ICC qualifier, Chris Gayle was celebrating with the Afghan fans at the end. Because he said, okay, now the game's over, we didn't get across the line. Now, why should there's no point sitting and crying in the dressing room. So I think Chris brings that joy de vivre to the game, and characters like him are important.
That's the way he has played his cricket.
Yeah.
And even in Bangalore, when he used to hit all those massive sixes consistently, invariably someone or the other in the crowd will get injured.
Yeah.
With the cricket ball. And it's so nice of him that he actually used to go and meet them. Once
that little girl, I remember.
Once a little girl got hurt because of one of his sixes which he had went in the crowd, and the ball went and straight hit her on the head. She was in the hospital, and Chris went there, spent time with her, and I mean that's the way he has played his cricket. What he did, and I'm jokingly saying that just the way he celebrated, but he will make any moment, even if how serious it is, in a very lighter moment.
Yeah.
But that fire inside, that passion inside, has always been there, and that the fire is always burning.
I think but that little girl, I don't think she remembers that moment because she had got hit by a Chris Gayle six in the head, so she's probably forgot. So maybe she's being reminded of it now.
But it's a crazy combination. What he's talking about is right. It's a crazy combination. A guy who actually plays the game very hard. He's a very tough competitor. But the moment the game is off, he's laughing, joking and all. But don't ever mistake the fact that he's dead serious about his.
I mean, he's played 100 test matches. He's 11 runs short of being the highest one-day scorer for the West Indies. So, you don't do that with just fun and games and if you're not serious about the game. I have a story about him as well. After the IPL, just went down to the restaurant and just see Chris Gayle sitting there with a big bowl with like 5 scoops of ice cream in it. He's just eating it. I mean, with his cut 6 packs and he's eating. I'm like, listen, I mean, this is just, you're making me feel like genetic garbage, right, when you do this. And I said, 5 scoops of, yeah, man, 6s make me hungry. And I remember the story Zaheer Khan told me where he said, I used to treat myself with a cheesecake after I took like 3 wickets or something. And I said, what if you didn't take any wickets and gave 70 runs away in the game? He said, then 2 cheesecakes.
Just to feel good.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Just to douse that pain just a little bit. For Afghanistan, there will be a little bit of pain because when you look at the points table, of course, you'd say that perhaps in small little patches they perform better than this, but unfortunately not good enough to string together a win in this World Cup. They will take back hopefully a lot. Now just remember that leading up to the World Cup in the last 4 years, against the other teams that you see on this table, they'd only played a total of 18 one-day games against top quality opposition. So playing these games, I mean literally they've played 50% of the games in the last 4 years. Yeah. Right? They've added another 50% in this tournament itself, in these 6 weeks. So they definitely will learn a lot from it. The West Indies, well, will they learn? Zach says they take their time to learn. As you could tell in this tournament, just the 2 wins and 1 rained-out game for them. They're definitely a better side than this. I just hope they don't show it when India goes visiting.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen with the... it's not... And remember, the last time we finished a World Cup and did a straight tour of the West Indies was 83.
Yes.
When they toured us. And to take revenge for the World Cup, they hammered us 5-0.
Yeah.
And they just didn't give us a chance that tour. But see, I have a theory. My theory is that when Test cricket started, from Test cricket, the West Indian kids came into ODI cricket and the format suited them. And then after ODI cricket, you see 90s, 2000s, cricket is given away to basketball. All those games are bigger. T20 cricket has brought back kids to cricket.
Yeah.
And because they're playing T20, they're now going to start playing one-day cricket. So more kids if talented kids come into the West Indies system, they're now coming by the T20, but you'll get 50 overs cricketers as well. So I believe over the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, you'll see a revival in West Indian cricket.
Yeah, but 10 years will the 50 over format be around?
Good question. If the 20 over format is around, they're champions.
There's no doubt about that, GK. Come on.
I don't know.
I'm glad the expert couch is gone from
that was a burn.
No, but see, if it was a statement, then it would be something. I just asked a question.
Yeah,
You always ask questions.
So that's exactly how I'm responding.
Existential questions. What do you know? You never know.
Well, T20s are going to go up. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah,
Since
especially
you
with
asked the question, I'm
Yeah.
just giving you the answer.
What is the answer?
And the answer is yeah. So basically T20.
Besides the jibe that you put like a knife into my heart and twisted it. Besides the jibe, what is your answer?
The answer is T20 will rise up. There is
Yeah.
no doubt about it.
But ODI will not disappear.
50 overs will last for sure.
Yeah.
And there will be World Cups, and there will be bilateral tournaments. But you want associate nations also to come up. So
Yeah.
that's something which will make things interesting. The format which was there in the World Cup this year possibly will not be repeated, because there will be more teams added, is what I'm hoping. And that's something which we all want to see. And if that is growing, then ODI cricket is growing. So that is something which will continue. Yes, the number of ODIs may go down, because
Yeah.
T20 has to be accommodated somewhere.
Yeah, you're noticing with a lot of bilateral series,
Yeah.
suddenly the numbers of T20 is sort of going up, and
Yeah, there was actually a limit. Na? You couldn't play more than 4 a year for a particular period, T20Is. Then the ICC has opened it up.
yeah, so they're playing more. Well, more cricket for us cricket fans is always fun. Don't matter if it's 5-day, 1-day, or T20. And some people like T10 also.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, at least now.
cricket
Around
should
the
grow.
40s.
That's all we
T10
want,
is
isn't
good.
it?
Two overs is good. You never know. Chris Gayle could be a great T10 champ. Yeah? Spending just 45 minutes, 1 hour on the field and then coming and batting. That's his kind of jam. Well, you never know.
All the formats are good formats. Be it T10, T20, ODIs, Test matches, they're all good.
They're all good. Listen.
The
you're-
pink ball Test cricket, that's also good.
Listen, you're talking to somebody, you're preaching to the choir, because you're talking to somebody who loves all formats of cricket. But, you guys, talking about you, which one is your favorite? Tell us. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live. We want to hear from you. We are going to read them. I mean, we've got guys who do that, but still, we are going to read them. They're going to filter them and send them to us. Yeah, don't worry about it. All right, who is our MVP for today? Who was it? Did you have Carlos Brathwaite in your team? 14 runs of just 4 balls, then 4 wickets. Yes, the MVP for today. The strike rate of 350, and of course, an economy rate of 7, picking up 4 wickets. Your MVP. I think a lot of people would have had Carlos Brathwaite in their team. Yeah, I think you would have.
Especially after that 100.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
You would have.
And he's always in the game bowls as well, so
Yeah,
that's an added advantage.
Correct.
Points.
Never doubt of it.
absolutely. So, if you had him in your team, you obviously are extremely happy at this point in time. Also, extremely happy is our winner for the day, Beat the Expert champion, Raju Chatole, 465 points. Well done, Raju. You have indeed become a gentleman. Well done.
Good one.
Well done indeed. Good job. I want to really, I'm super curious, and I know Zach is also super curious. We need to know the answer to that joy factor question, right?
Indeed.
Okay. First of all, we need to know that joy factor question, because I didn't totally decode it. I don't know what we were trying to answer. Is the answer 42 square kilometers? I don't even know what
42 is a
unit
good
I'm
answer for
supposed
today.
to.
Okay. So I'm talking about 3 cricketers. The first is a son playing in this tournament. The second's autobiography is a pun and a big theft. And the third, captain a team in the ISL. What were they together?
So basically, hang on 1 second. So I need to figure out the 3 cricketers. And when I figure out the 3 cricketers, I'll figure out what the 3 of them were known as. They had a group name or something.
Yep.
Like they were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like that.
Exactly. So the first
3
cricket,
Stooges,
yeah, could be.
the Marx Brothers.
No, they weren't the Marx Brothers, but
give up.
close enough, close enough. So the first cricketer whose son is playing in this World Cup is Rod Latham, whose son is Tom Latham, who just played a great innings yesterday. The second cricketer whose name is a pun on a theft is Grand Larceny, which was
Gavin Larson.
Gavin Larson. And the third cricketer who I'm talking about, who captained an ICL team, was Chris Harris, who captained
Dibbly Dobbly Wibbly Wobbly.
Dibbly Dobbly Wobblies. These were the Dibbly Dobbly brothers. The 3 guys who had their nickname during the 1992 edition, and they were fantastic for New Zealand. I mean,
1 sec. Wibbly was Willie Watson.
Wibbly was Willie Watson, who was actually fast, so that's why he's never counted among these guys.
There you go. Dibbly Dobbly. No Wibbly in it, but Wobbly. Oh, this is a semi-final or final question, sir?
Hoga, we'll get some good ones. We'll get some. You need to put.
A challenge. It's like,
You put it up
I
there,
will
yeah.
up my game. Somebody upped their game today and got their answer in the first. Let's see who it is. Well done, man. Well done. Sanket Vengulekar, congratulations. Well, first time winner.
Yep, I haven't seen this name before.
Applause. Applause. Applause.
Well done, Sanket.
The regulars have got a Sanket from Sanket saying, Hum bhi hain. I am also there. Well, the questions are getting tougher now. There's only a few left that are going to come. So, Sanket, we hope to see your name up on that leaderboard again, up on that winning board again. Honors board.
On his spot, yeah.
The Professor
Hall of Fame.
Bhattacharjya Hall of Fame, indeed. Let's have a quick look at what game we have tomorrow. It's an important game for Pakistan. Of course, Pakistan is playing Bangladesh. Well, important game. They can't qualify. Well, they can qualify. One second. They can qualify. It's improbable. It's not impossible.
Just explain.
I'll explain it. I'll
listen.
explain it.
I'll listen.
Okay, I'll explain. I've got it. I've got it down pat. First, you got to win the toss, right? Sarfaraz, win the toss.
Bat.
Bat first. All right, Sarfaraz, you can hear me. Don't choose bowling. Bat first. If you choose bowling, you're out. You're out. You can't do anything to the net run rate. It's dead and buried. So, bat first. Score 350. If you score 350, tell your bowlers to get Bangladesh out for less than 40. Right? Improbable, but not impossible. Score 400 and get your bowlers to get Bangladesh out for less than 85. Right? And if you score 450, you get your bowlers to get them out for less than 130.
Perfect.
Right? You can do this. And then, if one of these scenarios happen, then of course, Pakistan will win the game, get to 11, and their net run rate will go above New Zealand's. Now, you're looking at me and you're saying, this guy's obviously drunk. How does he think this can happen? But it's cricket, man. Anything can happen. You've got to be positive. You've got to look ahead and say, I can do this. So the first thing that Sarfaraz must do is win the toss. I don't know how you do that. I mean, can't really guarantee it, but you know, it's 50-50. Come on, you can get that done. And if Mashrafe Murtaza wins the toss, just look at him and say, bhai batting de de yaar. Hai na?
You know, there was a bright chance if this equation was reversed completely
Yeah.
and Sarfaraz had to bowl first to create any kind of chance. I have my doubts that with the tweet, which was the famous tweet early on around the India match,
Yeah.
he might have batted tomorrow again.
Just
No, but in this tournament, post that match, he has just decided that he's going to bat first. It doesn't matter what the scenario and situation is, how bad or good wicket is to bat. He was going to bat because he's realized he had his lesson that put runs on board and then your bowlers are going to come into play.
Listen to the
Otherwise,
Prime
it was
Minister.
always going to be difficult, and that's how the whole turnaround happened. You actually. Look at that scenario as well. Like, you know,
I mean, after the India game, they were looking at what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches and 3 points only from those 5 matches, right? With one being abandoned.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really been quite a turnaround they've done after that, right? They've really answered their critics because after the 16th of June, those 2-3 days, I can't even imagine what it would be like to be a Pakistan cricketer because people in Pakistan were just nasty. They were coming at them hard and fast and rather unfairly. No cricketer goes out there to lose, right? Yeah, they're just going at them. And somehow they've managed to turn that around. Very happy for them. And you'd be happy as a cricketer as well because that kind of criticism is just uncalled for. Personal attacks.
You can have tough games, you can have tough campaigns, tough tournaments, but what's important is how you come back, how you fight back, what kind of character you show. And I think Pakistan team had showed enough character to come back from that kind of criticism and torture. You know, you can actually say torture
you're right.
because you know you expect your fans to back you all the time, even and especially through the tough time. You want to have your fans to have that belief. I mean, that's why you're fans, right? Like you're backing the team because you believe in the team and you know that they have the potential to win matches and they're trying their best to do so. So that is something to respond for any cricketer. I think as an individual or as a team, the best way to silence your critics is go out there, perform well, win some matches, get runs if you are a batsman, get wickets if you are a bowler, and everything falls into place.
Yeah.
Because that if that integrity shouldn't be doubted is what I feel. So Pakistan team did that. I think Pakistan team for them the best possible scenario was to get to that 11 points. Yes, net run rate if they had worked upon, had opportunities, but Nisham batted really well to get New Zealand to that kind of platform.
Yeah.
And they couldn't really close that game. Had they closed that game, maybe this equation what we are talking about today could have been different. But nonetheless, I think they've done their job of getting the team closer to that scenario where they can finish on 11 points. And if they do that, then they should take pride in that.
The thing is that first loss that they had against West Indies, that, the hit that their net run rate took over there, it's just really tough to recover from.
No,
that.
but he's right. The bigger, that was one. The Nisham one was even more important because it was a double whammy.
Yeah.
New Zealand was improving the rate and you were losing yours. So it hit you both ways, That innings basically hit you from both sides.
Yeah, well, so that's the story for Pakistan. Let's have a look at their teams, a quick look at both their teams and see if they'd like to make any changes. Here's the Pakistan team. I really doubt if they'd sort of go in.
There's no scope of any chance there. Mohammad Amir has been great with the wicket-taking form. Wahab Riaz, Shaheen Afridi. So that bowling lineup is settled. Imad Wasim adds that spin and some hitting ability which he has low down the order. Shadab Khan, a great leg spinner. So that thing is settled. Harris Sohail has been the inspiration for this Pakistan team after his comeback. Things have been really good, and the top three has been consistent in showing intent in the last 3 matches. So I think that's playing 11 was set. I think the last 3 matches, that's why they could win those matches. They got everything going. It's just that unfortunate that that they couldn't really get to that stage where they were giving themselves a chance where they just had to go out there and win the match without any scenario and situation.
Bangladesh, let's have a look at their team and see if they would like to make any changes. Well, there you go.
Again, I mean, if Mahmudullah's fit, he'll walk in. That's for sure.
Fair.
But if Mahmudullah's not fit, then I think these guys have also done a phenomenal job with this team as well. And, look, the only weak link there as a player is Mashrafe Mortaza. But his capacity as a leader is so much, you can't drop him, you can't take him away from there. Mashrafe Mortaza is actually, because he's not finishing any of his spells. He's bowling 5 overs, 6 overs. They're having to hide him there. They're having to hide him in the field. But he is the cement that keeps it together, So they'll just have to go with him.
Well, you can also make your team for tomorrow. You can also compete. Some strong players on both sides. Take your pick. Your My 11 Circle app. I'm sure you've downloaded it. Just choose the game that's happening tomorrow, which is Pakistan and Bangladesh. Make your team, beat Dada, and win 5 times more cash. Wowzers. So Bangladesh has also come out and said that, we keep talking about Pakistan winning and this is a scenario. But Bangladesh is saying they're not going to be pushovers and they want to beat Pakistan because they want to end on a high and they want to feel that pride of sort of, because these subcontinent battles have, are little battles in themselves. This little Asia Cup subplot, as I've been calling it. So Bangladesh is not going to roll over. They have been really good in this tournament. If you have a look at the points table, it's not like they're chump change. It's not like, they're towards the bottom. They're more sort of towards the middle. They've got 3 teams behind them. And tomorrow, if they win, they can actually leapfrog over Sri Lanka and Pakistan. They would leapfrog over them as well and then finish 5th. And that's motivation enough.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll be aiming for. They'll say we are good enough to be 5th. I mean, and throughout this tournament, if you remember, they and Pakistan have been sitting on that 5-6 position, 5-6, 4, 5-6.
Yeah.
They'd say, we are good enough to be there, and they deserve to be. They've done wonderful in this tournament. They've come of age, and I'd like players like Shakib, all these Tamim. They may not come back to have a fantastic end as well.
Okay, instinctively before we go, instinctive call. Who is it tomorrow? Who is it tomorrow?
I think it's Bangladesh because Pakistan will have to go too hard and I think too much is there. So if they can't do it, if they try and put up an unrealistic total, things might happen.
Bangladesh should just wait for the unforced errors like you wait in tennis, right?
Absolutely.
Unforced errors. Zach, your call for tomorrow?
I think Pakistan would want to finish on a high and the kind of momentum they are in. I think they will be able to close the game. Yes, they will try and go hard, but it might turn out to be a great game because of that.
Yeah.
If they lose the toss, and Bangladesh for sure is going to make sure that they bat first.
Yeah.
Because that is also the subplot which you're talking about,
Yeah.
Asian subplot, that will come into play, and they'll say, okay, fine, why give them an opportunity?
Yeah.
So that might just happen. So toss tomorrow is going to be very crucial, and after that, I'm sure it's going to be a great game, because you would want to finish at number 5, like how I'm saying for Bangladesh also. If they win, it'll be a great tournament. They fought well. They showed that they've progressed from just a team who can create an upset to now a team who can
Be
win
contenders,
matches, win matches consistently and be one of the main contenders for the qualifiers. So from that point of view, they want to show that progress. They want to feel that what they believed in at the start of the tournament, they have achieved somehow, somewhere closer to that.
Yeah.
Just one game here, there, they could have gone through. Is something what they will be thinking. So all in all, it will be a great contest. If Pakistan bats first and someone like the top 3 gets going, it might be a high-scoring encounter.
Hammer and tongs is how they're gonna go. Well, all right. So we see experts are divided. One is siding with Bangladesh. One is saying advantage Pakistan. What do you say? I can hear you. Go on. But first, before we do that, I of course want to thank Joyda. This is your last day with us during the World Cup. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you here. Always a pleasure to hear your anecdotes on the show and off the show, and of course for your questions. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Zach.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Get to learn so much with the good professor in the house. All right, so it's time for us to go now. Thank you so much for watching My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. Thank you to Zaheer Khan as well for being here. We're going to see you tomorrow at 2:30 for the Pakistan. That's 2:30 India Standard Time for the Pakistan-Bangladesh game leading up to that. Right now, I'm Gaurav Kapur, and I am saying, because I've had the expert couch 3 days in a row now, I am saying that tomorrow it's going to be advantage